Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on Bristol Motor Speedway, and next episode we are going to be returning back to 2 races per episode, but today we will be just at 1 here from Bristol. As I think the first time outside of a super speedway I actually decided to skip practice because I really didn't feel like I needed practice as we came into this weekend. And well, the first lap of qualifying I hit the wall, so it came down to lap 2 as we come through into the second lap of qualifying in this final season of our NASCAR 25 career mode. Now as we head down into turn number 3, and as we roll off turn 4 down the front straightaway to the line, we go P19 with a 15.225 here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Actually pretty content with that effort going into this weekend, so feeling like we're actually going to be able to put up a pretty solid result now. Bristol, one of the hardest tracks in the game. I do have to lower the AI when I come to Bristol from 105. I believe I turned it down to 103 for today's episode here from Bristol Motor Speedway. That's just how much more difficult it is when you come to this track. And as we come through to the grid Sunday afternoon here from Bristol Motor Speedway, now the jet's about to fly over and we are about to get underway here now as you see the Goodyear blimp as well above a packed Bristol Motor Speedway grandstand as we get ready to fire the engines here with this number 15 Robin Hood Chevrolet, as it's going to be ready to go racing. Now the number 11 and the number 5 ready to lead the field of green. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're underway from Bristol Motor Speedway now. 31 laps of racing here in this opening stage now as we'll be tucked in behind the 6. I say that, he drives away by 4 car lengths or so as we head down into turn number 3 now. So right in the middle of the pack. Now obviously when it comes to Bristol, at least in NASCAR 25, you want to be on the outside line if you're going to make any chance of really going forward happen. That's where you got to be. On top of that, of course, you know, passing is not easy if you're not on the top. So if you are going to go to the bottom, you're going to have to do the slide job, and to do a slide job, it's going to require things to spread out. So there's different dynamics that are going to play roles in this race now, as we've already gotten up to the outside behind the Discount Tire Ford Mustang of Austin Cindric here. He's going to be in behind the 71 of Michael McDowell, as we got Zane Smith to our inside as we roll off turn 2 down this back straightaway here, just kind of staying tucked in behind right now. I feel like we might sacrifice some positions early on by staying on the top because the AI, they can actually pass pretty easily around the bottom, but as this race continues to progress on, I think we'll find ourselves in pretty good shape here now, as right now the 24 William Byron out in front of this race here now, and only 31 laps in this opening stage, so you don't have a lot of time to get anything done. And that's one of the frustrations that we've had this season is, qualifying is always difficult. You kind of give up some track position to the AI in the opening stage, and stage 1's all about kind of rallying your way forward. And so far as we are approaching halfway through this stage, I haven't even done a good job of that now, as I'm actually going to lean on the 4 of Noah Gragson here as we head down into turn 3. But now to my left side, here comes the Wood Brothers 21 of Josh Berry. So now he's going to try and slip through, as now the 11 has gotten out in front of this race here now as we are approaching halfway through stage number 1, right on the back of the 4 here of Noah Gragson, who's having a career run inside the top 25, honestly, now as we hit lap 15 at this point. And definitely, obviously thinking about some adjustments that we're going to need to make, but now getting a run to the inside of the 4, thinking about just trying to, utilize that slide job here in these coming laps, because I feel like that's the only realistic way I'm going to be able to make some passes right now, as we are fighting with this 4 of Gregson here in about 25th, 26th place here as we head down into turn 3. There's a good gap between him and his teammate of Zane Smith. We slide up in front, and that move right there only, however, puts us into the 25th position. But we really started making some headway after making that pass, and now we're going to go for another slide job here on the 38 of Zane Smith. That's 2 slide jobs on the day here so far, of I'm sure many more to come, including the 3rd now on the 21 of Josh Berry, coming up on the final 10 laps of the stage. And now we've slid up into 23rd place in behind that 71 as we continue to march our way forward. Maybe a top 20 is on the cards here in these closing laps of racing now, as we'll be tucked in right on the 71 here, and we'll look to the inside. Do I dare go for another slide job? Yes, I do. Slide job number 4 now as we continue on up to 22nd behind the 7 and the 2 at this point now, and confident that we might be able to get both of them, and that would put us in the top 20 before this stage is over. Obviously not where we want to be, but just setting us up a little bit better. And I tried to go for a slide job, but that was not going to happen because the 2 of Cindric was right there in the way now as we head down into turn 3 and just continuing to roll now the center lane, and that allows us to clear the 7 with just a couple of laps to go here in stage number 1. Now we might have an opportunity to go steal 20th place from either the 2 or the 16. AJ Allmendinger as well, kind of fading back as these laps continue on here, as we'll look off turn 4 to the inside with 2 laps to go in stage 1. Not going to be able to even consider a slide job right here, as we're just going to have to, kind of honor that space that's lacking right now between the 2 and the 16, but we clear Allmendinger into turn 3, so up to 20th place we go. The 11 already halfway down the back straightaway here to take stage 1 now, and of course once 10th place crosses the line, the stage is over, so it's going to be close. We're going to get to the inside of the 2, nearly some contact. The 11 crosses the line, and we will do a slide job on the 2 to get 19th just as the stage caution comes out. So not a bad start here, as we really started working our way through some traffic, halfway or so through that first and opening stage. Some adjustments coming into the car, going a little bit down on wedge, and getting ready to go green after a pit stop for 4 tires as well as fuel. Kyle Larson takes the lead as the pit lane gets completely shuffled and we move up into P10. So as we get back underway here from Bristol for the second stage of racing, 31 laps of racing here in stage number 2, as we'll head down this bank straight away now. I wanted to touch on something here as well that you're going to notice at least over the next month and a half or so, maybe not quite a month and a half, but a little over a month or so. You're going to notice a few changes on this channel. I had a mixture of things kind of arise. One of the things that was arising was a bit of burnout, and I had 3 career modes going on this channel. I had 2 career modes going on the F1 channel. Well, the 2 F1 career modes are going to remain, but I was really lacking with some motivation and getting some burnout because of just all the different career modes that I was trying to juggle at once. And you're going to notice for the next little while that we're only going to have NASCAR 25 career here on the channel. I just kind of need to calm down for a little bit and reset and kind of get where I need to be in the proper headspace. So I do hope you guys forgive me for the next little bit here now, and kind of leading into NASCAR 26. Of course, we'll kind of have all that hype and whatnot coming, and I'm sure we're actually going to get NASCAR 26 news, like a lot of news. I'm hopeful that this week I'm sure we might be getting a dev diary just for an example. But another thing is as well, and I won't dive too deep into it, but I was made aware that NASCAR is not a huge fan of mods being the staple kind of part of this channel when we do our career modes. And the instance of NASCAR 25 career, where even though it wasn't even modding, it was just Photoshop, I was basically changing the names of drivers to other actual drivers' names, such as Corey Heim in the 45 or Tyler Reddick in the 11. Now, I talked more at length about this on a live stream recently, and if you are curious about it, I will put a link in the description with a timestamp as well, so you can kind of understand what exactly has gone on there. But that means for now, we will be reluctant on doing that because, literally NASCAR was not happy. Now, modding every once in a while is okay, but when your kind of staple is kind of, modding the games and violating the legal EULAs, they're not going to be a fan of that, and I was finally, after all this time, informed about it. So it's unfortunate, but we'll see. I mean, I've got a lot of plans for how to tackle that kind of hurdle going forward, but you won't see it at least until NASCAR kind of 26, and as I kind of continue to kind of come up with ideas on the best way to go about that, because we're all obviously going to spice up these games, especially when they're kind of they don't have a whole lot of depth to them when when they're in the vanilla form like NASCAR 25. As we had a bit of a moment there with Bubba Wallace, but now focusing back in on this race. I mean, as we continue on here, already past halfway in stage 2, and obviously that entire debacle of the weird pit shuffle that you always see at Bristol has given us an opportunity to not unfortunately be in the top 10, but at least the top 15, and still at least up here in the mix. And we knew stage 1, we kind of took off about halfway through the stage, and you know, here in stage 2, bit of a different scenario. We're already coming up on towards 10 laps to go, and we finally cleared Austin Dillon for 13th, but now things seem to start to kind of favor us here a little bit. Now is bit of a moment there with Omendinger, but now we can send it into turn 3 and do a nice little slide job on him. And we continue to try and just pry our way forward here with 10 laps to go in stage number 2. But top 10 was looking pretty unlikely, it felt like at this point now, as Kyle Larson out in front in that number 5. But we are reeling in the 60 and the 23. So I say it wasn't looking likely, but at the same time, you know, it was only a few laps until I had run down the Kroger RFK number 60 of Ryan Preece. And I mean, a golden opportunity right here to slide job him into turn 3. We'll clear him, slide across the nose, up into P11 we go. And now I'm feeling pretty confident actually that a top 10 is going to be in the cards here now. And hopefully that will set us up pretty well for that third and final stage here. My goodness, nearly into the outside wall as we head down into turn number 3. And as we continue to perform, you know, even with losing some stage points, we continue to have a very solid season here, and we are going to be hopefully fighting for the regular season championship here in this 2020, I guess 7 season this is, as we are now to the inside of the 6 and up the inside and clear, and that puts us into the top 10 with just a couple laps to go. Kozlowski tries to do the little switchback there, but couldn't quite pull it off now. So into P10, can we maybe gain 1 or 2 more positions before this stage comes to an end and just get a little bit closer to the front of this pack here going into that final stage of racing now with just a couple of laps to go. Bubba Wallace side by side with Cindric. He would get cleared by the 2, and now I was to the inside of the 23, the Columbia Toyota to the outside, but unfortunately not an opportunity to aim for a slide job. So we're just going to have to continue side by side into turn number 3, and Wallace is just kind of hanging on my right rear, but we clear him out of turn 4. Didn't even need a slide job with 1 lap to go here in stage number 2. We made a last lap pass in stage 1 on the 2. We're going to do the same thing again here into turn 3 on the last lap in stage 2. We will pass the 2 of Cindric. I think I said stage 2. We passed him originally. Stage 1 we got him. Kyle Larson wins the stage. We end up 8th here in stage number 2. Obviously, you know, unlike last episode where we won in Darlington, we don't have anywhere close to the pace to win this race, but I think a top 10 is definitely in the cards of opportunity here as we loosen up the car just a little bit here going into stage 3, down to 51.0 on the wedge, 4 tires and fuel as we gain 1 spot and move up to 7th. As we get ready though to go green for stage 3, it's Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott out in front here as we kick things back off now. And as we head down into turn 1, we're literally halfway through this race here now as we exit turn 2, and we've spun ourselves out into the inside wall. Oh my goodness, I got the best track position of the day, and I just wrecked myself. No caution. There is no caution. Where's my caution? I'm literally doing burnouts to get a caution. We're on strict yellows, by the way. And I had to literally start driving backwards to get the caution. And then you see my reaction of like, are you kidding me? Obviously, that's all my fault. But that was still quite a frustrating mistake to make. And I mean, I got loose and I wasn't prepared for how loose the car was now on the exit of turn 2. Now, I have not made the car tighter. I'm going to keep the same wedge, and just now, obviously, we're going to be at the back, so we're just going to have to be aware. And that was the thing. I just wasn't aware of how loose the car was going to be on the exit of turn 2, and really paid the price for it. So I just completely embarrassed myself right there and ruined my race because, I mean, you know, wrecking's one thing, but when you wreck yourself, that's, you know, that's the worst, is when I just self-inflict my, you know, own doom basically here as we come to lap 67 of 125. Now, here's the benefit. I mean, we do still have a lot of laps of racing to go here with about 60 laps to go in this race, just under. So it's going to be an opportunity for us to still be able to go forward here before this race comes to a conclusion. But yeah, obviously, as you can imagine, quite frustrated with a mistake like that now. And that's where, you know, we are not going to win a championship. I keep thinking back on season 2 and how we lost the championship. It was a few mistakes and just not running as good as we needed to run. The guys that won the championship, I mean, the 24 of William Byron, he just won the championship on being super consistent. To be consistent, you can't crash yourself. That's the problem that we've been making here now. And obviously, I mean, we are lucky that this is still the early part of the regular season. We have time to kind of turn things around and clean things up, but a very frustrating mistake to make right there nonetheless as Kyle Larson continues to lead. I did see the 9 of Chase Elliott did briefly take the lead away from that HendrickCars.com Chevrolet as we continue now rolling forward. Now lap 72, and you know, even when you're, you know, way faster than say cars in 35th, it's still a little bit tricky to make passes on the inside here now. So we're just taking our time running the middle lane. So the middle lane, you just get a better run compared to the bottom. So, you know, everyone of course fights for the wall. I'm running right in the middle now. So how about Christopher Bell back here? Christopher Bell is 2 cars in front of me outside of the top 30, but he would start rolling his way forward and start making some passes. So maybe he just kind of was probably a victim of that massive shuffle in the pits, because I can see some big names like Ty Gibbs and Chase Briscoe as well, barely inside the top 30 right now, trying to work their way forward. And as we continue on, beyond lap 75, at this point now less than 50 laps to go in this race. We were kind of, you know, moving all over the place at this point now. I had jumped up to the outside and had gotten alongside the 7 behind the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Chase Elliott now out in front of this race here. Now, could Chase Elliott get that first win of the season? He is in a pretty close battle with Kyle Larson in the number 5, because, I mean, they're pretty well shuffling positions back and forth now as we go 3 wide to the inside here into turn 3 now, and just trying to keep this car planted and do exactly that right there. And we're just slowly but surely going forward as these laps go on. We actually passed the 19 of Chase Briscoe here out of turn 2 into turn 3. So now we break into the top 30, and obviously we're going to need another caution for anything to really kind of go in our favor. And obviously, as you guys know, we did turn down the incident frequency a few races back, so that's something that's also going to mean that the likelihood of course of getting a caution is going to be quite a bit lower than it usually is here now, as we give the 43 of Eric Jones a nice push there into turn 1 and really just trying to get past these guys. Do I dare go 4 wide? I'm going to force a 4 wide into turn 3. The 7 chomps the nose. Yeah, I don't blame him. That was a really dumb move on my part. That was kind of a desperation move out of frustration of the fact that it's kind of like IRL next-gen racing on short tracks where passing is difficult. And we slide job the 35 and the 99 into turn 3, and now the 35 does get a little bit of a cutback on us here. Herbst on the inside as we start lap 88, but out of turn 2, great run out of the corner, and we clear him for 26th place. Then very quickly running down the 4 of Noah Gregson. We'll pass him here off into turn number 3 as well, and we break into the top 25. If this goes green to the end, we as well are going to need to make green flag pit stops. So that's going to also present a unique challenge to this race here now as we continue working our way forward now to the inside of the 42 right here of John Hunter Nemechek, and this will put us into 23rd place if we can clear them into turn 3, that is, or sorry, into turn 1, and sure enough we do get that 23rd position now with just under 35 laps to go here now, and Chase Elliott seems to be the actual commanding leader now of this race as we'll clear that 3 of Austin Dillon and move up into 22nd place. Running out of time, and it's happening pretty quick now, coming to lap 95, running down the 23 of Bubba Wallace, who's kind of faded as well through the order as this race has gone on. And as we hit lap 96, it's 30 to go here in Bristol. That means it's go time for everybody, because 30 laps to go is not a lot of time left now. And my tire warning light is on as we clear the 71 back into the top 20. But pit stops are about to kick off here from Bristol. Around the outside of the 2 of Cindric, we are making a great comeback drive as we we head down into turn 1 behind the 38 of Zane Smith. We're going to get a great run here off the corner. He kind of covers the middle. I shoot to the top here now as Ty Gibbs is going forward, and pit stops are now taking place here. As you can see on the track map, pit lane starting to get busy. William Byron in the 24 is in the pits now, is 3 wide there into turn 3 as we'll clear Omendinger as well. And now the question is, do we do 4 tires or do we do 2 tires? My answer is as more cars come in, the 48, the 45 as well, as we're to the inside of the number 8 of Kyle Busch, but we are going to do 2 tires because we are going to have to run less than 25 laps. That's not a lot of laps, and I feel like we can gain more time than we'll give up by the end of the race if we just take 2. Hocevar's in, the 6 of Keselowski's in, and we now move into the top 10 here come lap 101. Gibbs is in, and so is Bell, the 71, just coming out in front of us there. So we are getting ready to come in, and now I can confirm they're all taking 4. These guys are all taking 4 tires, which was a bit of a surprise to me at the time, but we are going to stick with the 2-tire call. I do believe we will gain more than we will lose by taking 2 tires. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be wrong as the 22 comes in now, 19 coming out here as we come through to lap 103, and now just waiting really for the call from my crew chief, but I would decide to make the call myself here now as we are going to take just 2 right side tires. I have actually decided to tighten up the car a little bit because 2 tires, sometimes they can kind of, swing the balance around a little bit and make the car a little bit looser. So going up on the wedge as we get down to pit road here now on the front straightaway, and we'll come in for our 2-tire stop here now. Get some fresh Goodyear Eagles on this car now, and it's going to end up being about an 8.3 second stop. We'll get back out on the racetrack now. The 56 of Martin Truex Jr. is still on the track here as we exit turn 2, heading down this back straightaway, and it's going to be just coming up on 20 or so laps to go. The 56 is into the pits now as we're currently running in 10th place as we exit turn 4. So we've gained some track position as the 2 of Cindric is right behind me as we exit turn 2, and now we're going to just try to run away at this point now and gain whatever we can as we are going to have, of course, some battles on our hands. We've wrecked again out of turn 4. Are you kidding me? I cannot believe that. Caution's going to come out, and I have embarrassed myself here in this final stage. Once again, earlier, we got the track position that we had been looking for. Spun out. This time, we had gotten ourselves the track position we were looking for. Spun out. And now we're down to 29th place as we were the last car scored on the lead lap before the free pass driver. And as we get back underway now, it's going to be, well, I guess you know what? There's still a chance we can pull something off here. 17 laps to go. I don't think a top 10 is an option at this point, but I think we can still recover to a half-decent result. But obviously, I've embarrassed myself out here today. It has been so frustrating to just make those mistakes. And it's not, not a flaw of the game or anything. It's just me. It's just me making an error. And sometimes we're going to make those slip-ups, and unfortunately, I just look like an absolute dingus out here now. And again, I mean, using this kind of middle lane to try and roll forward at this point now. And how about as well the leader? It's not Kyle Larson, it's Chase Elliott in the number 9, looking for win number 1 here on the season. Season 3 of the Cup Series here in the NASCAR 25 career mode. And off turn 2, we'll clear the 99 and up into 24th place we go. And I mean, obviously everyone's just kind of covering that outside line, so we're just going to have to commit to the middle lane. We do have a tire advantage, of course, so that's really making things a lot easier in terms of getting through traffic with 10 to go to the inside of the 71, for example. And we'll pass him on the exit of turn 4. Not quite clear. Now clear here on lap 117, and now we can actually rip the top for, at least a lap or 2 maybe, and that will really allow me to close in on these guys in front of us now. But we have at least gotten ourselves, back into the top 20 to the inside of the 43 of Eric Jones into turn 3. We'll clear him. That was a really aggressive slide job on the poor guy. But, I mean, we can definitely score a top 15 out of this if we just play our cards right. We got Logano, you got Busch, you got Cindric, Briscoe, Gibbs, all right here. We passed Cindric and Busch both by lap 120, and now to the outside of the 19 here out of turn 4, and we're going to be able to get ourselves into 16th with 5 laps to go here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott still out in front, looking very, very good. Is that number 9 of Chase Elliott? We're 3 wide through the middle, getting aggressive here into turn 3, doing what we got to do now. Keselowski still to the outside. Briscoe to the inside. We clear the 6 now with 3 laps to go in this race here. Now rolling the top. We've broken into the top 15, and now we'll pass that 19 for that 15 spot now as we're going to roll up behind the 24. It's going to be 2 laps to go for Chase Elliott, and looking at win number 1 on the season. He's got a comfortable lead on everybody else. Looking pretty good here in these closing moments now as we've got great battles here in the mid-teens, clearing the 24. Now to the inside of the Kubota 1 of Ross Chastain. It's going to be 1 lap to go here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Clear into turn number 1 to the inside of Gibbs, and Chase Elliott through 3 and 4. It's going to be the first win of the season for the Season 1 Cup champion. Chase Elliott wins in Bristol. We recovered a P12. Could have been a lot worse. Could have certainly been better. Definitely embarrassed myself out here today, and I'm frustrated about that. But Chase Elliott gets the win. How about it now for that number 9 Napa Auto Parts team? Now, Kyle Larson, not quite sure why he fell off so much compared to the 9 of Chase Elliott, but obviously, yeah, just didn't quite work out for that 5 team. And as well, we do want to take a look, as you do see as well, Riley Herbst ends up last, but we do want to kind of pay attention to the points now, and we have got ourselves still at least in the conversation for the regular season lead, going into a track where we could probably get our 3rd win of the season, Talladega Super Speedway now, and we've already got the most wins of anybody right now, 2 wins. We're the only driver that's won more than 1 race so far. We've actually had, 9 races and 8 different winners, which a lot of my critique of this game has been the same winners and the same running positions, which the same running order is still very accurate, but we've had a lot of different winners so far. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.
From the bottom to the top, I go.